people we talked to tonight said that they're so upset, they're so fed up that they've taken to recording the activity on their cell phone, and they hope that that videotape will get some action.
I was not trying to die. I was just trying not to feel. I get high. I smoke whatever I can. Crack, pills, whatever shows up. That's how one man in Los Angeles explains it. Not proudly, not like a joke, just tired, honest, empty. He says, I got so sick from it, I almost died. So I stopped those drugs, and then I tried a new one. He thought it was just something different to take the edge off, but what he tried was stronger than he understood. Street pills, street powders, often mixed with fentanyl, often mixed with other unknown chemicals. He shrugs. Everybody is chasing something. Drugs, money, escape. Nobody wants to feel this kind of pain. And then his voice gets quiet. I found bodies out here, on the street, people who didn't wake up. This is not a horror movie script. This is real life on the sidewalks of the United States. Welcome to Homeless US News. Tonight, we are pulling back the curtain on a version of Los Angeles most people never see, or never wanted to see. The LA in the movies is all palm trees, sunsets, and red carpets. But in the alleys, under the overpasses, along the back streets, the American dream is not shining. It is shaking.
It's not tracked at the state level, so those numbers are probably going to be higher. You know, they really are. And especially a place like Skid Row.
According to recent counts, tens of thousands of people in the greater Los Angeles area are experiencing homelessness on any given night. Some experts estimate more than 75,000 men, women, and children without a stable place to live. There has been a small drop in the number of people sleeping directly on sidewalks, but the overall crisis has not gone away. It is still pushing families, seniors, veterans, and young people into cars, into tents, into shelters, onto bare concrete. This is not the Los Angeles you see on postcards. This is a city where one bad month can erase an entire life, where one rent increase, one medical bill, one lost job can push someone from a small apartment into a parking lot. Tonight, we will walk through a street that never sleeps, a coastline and a Hollywood that hide their pain in plain sight, a city where children grow up too fast, a neighborhood where the word Skid Row is not a metaphor, and a final question: why do we keep telling these stories? If you stay until the end, you will not just hear about homelessness, you will hear about human beings holding on to dignity, hope, and survival, one day at a time.
And this just in from the mayor's office moments ago. I'm going to read from my phone. Safety is the top priority of the mayor. Our office will continue to work urgently with Councilmember Rahman to bring more Angelenos inside. There's more to the statement. I'll have more on that at 11. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live from Sherman Oaks. Back to the studio.
The street that never closes its eyes, Figueroa. Figueroa Street at night is not just a line on a map. It is a 4-mile corridor where survival never clocks out. During the day, traffic flows. People go to work. Buses roar past. Shops open and close. But when the sun drops behind the buildings, another story begins to unfold on the sidewalks. You see tents stitched together from whatever people could find. Plastic tarps, broken umbrellas, pieces of cardboard. You see old cars that do not run anymore, parked in the same spot for months, used as bedrooms instead of vehicles. You see faces that look older than the age on their IDs, lines of worry, eyes that have seen too much. Here, homelessness is not a statistic. It is a daily battle to stay warm, to stay safe, to stay alive. Along this stretch of street, hundreds of people attempt to get through the night. Some were pushed out of apartments when rent went up faster than their wages. Some lost everything after one emergency room visit, drained their savings. Some had just one terrible month, a layoff, a breakup, and illness that sent their lives spiraling. Once you are sleeping on a street like Figueroa, climbing back up can feel like trying to lift a whole city with your bare hands. Social workers say many people here have been without stable housing for years, not because they chose this life, but because every path back is blocked. No ID, no stable address, no way to fill out a rental application, no place to shower before a job interview. A mechanic who once fixed cars in a nearby shop now sleeps in front of the bay door where he used to work. A woman who used to process paperwork in an office now folds her belongings into plastic bags, as if she is packing up the last pieces of her identity. And yet, in the middle of all this darkness, small flashes of humanity refuse to die. A stranger hands someone a cold bottle of water. A volunteer shares a blanket. Two people talk quietly under a streetlight, just to remind each other they still exist. These moments do not erase the hardship, but they prove something important. The people here are still holding on, even when it feels like the rest of the world has let them go. Figueroa does not sleep, and the people trying to survive on it do not either. If you had to spend just one night on the street, what do you think would stay with you the longest? Tell us in the comments. And if you believe these lives and voices deserve to be heard, hit subscribe so we can keep bringing the truth into the light here at Homeless US News. The quiet spread from Venice Beach to Hollywood. Homelessness in Los Angeles is not always loud. Sometimes it spreads quietly, silently, into places people once believed would always be safe. In recent years, outreach teams have reported more families living in cars, more people dealing with untreated illness while sleeping on sidewalks, more individuals battling addiction. From Venice Beach all the way to Hollywood, this crisis did not just explode overnight. It crept in like a slow leak, into parking lots, into alleys, into neighborhoods that once felt protected from hardship. 3.1 Venice, the postcard and the truth. Along the Venice boardwalk, the sun still shines on the Pacific Ocean, like something out of a travel ad. But just a few steps inland, the picture changes. You see people wrapped in thin blankets, shivering not only from the cold, but also from the cravings and symptoms of withdrawal. They cannot escape. Some struggle with physical illnesses, without proper medical care, chronic conditions, infections, injuries that never heal fully. Others sit on the sand, talking softly to themselves, lost in thoughts they cannot easily pull away from. When night comes, tourists head back to hotels and homes. The street belongs to those who are just trying to get through one more hour, one more breath. 3.2 Hollywood, bright lights, hidden wounds. Hollywood hides a similar pain under brighter lights, behind billboards and theaters, in alleys and behind buildings. People patch up wounds with whatever they can find. Bandages that are reused again and again. Bottles of water left in the sun because there is nowhere else to keep them. Many of these people once had steady jobs. Cooks, hotel staff, construction workers, front desk clerks, housekeepers. Then came an injury, or a hospital stay, or a rent increase that outpaced their income. A single month of crisis was enough to push them over the edge. Now, some shuffle through side streets, out of breath. Some lean against walls, lightheaded from heat or hunger. Some drift in and out of awareness. On the sidewalks where dreams used to walk, old RVs line roads from Santa Monica to the San Fernando Valley. Inside those vehicles are seniors on fixed incomes, a father living with chronic pain, a woman choosing between medication and gas, a young man trying to go through withdrawal alone because he cannot afford treatment. Every breath is effort. Every night is a gamble. The cruelest part is the silence. No sirens, no breaking news alerts, just more tired bodies trying to get comfortable on hard surfaces. More lives quietly fraying at the edges, while the city keeps moving. If this reality touches something inside you, like this video, leave a comment and subscribe to Homeless US News so these voices are not forgotten. Children, fentanyl, and a neighborhood called Skid Row. Not everyone on the street is an adult. Across Los Angeles, thousands of children are living without stable housing. They sleep in cars, in weekly motels, in crowded shelters, or on relatives' couches. No bedrooms to decorate, no quiet corner to do homework, no certainty about where they will sleep tonight. Some families wake up before dawn to leave a parking lot before security asks them to move. Some check out of a motel room because they could only afford one night, then spend the day wondering where they will be allowed to sleep next. Trips to school can take hours, as families are pushed farther away from the neighborhood where the school is located. By the time these children sit at their desks, they are already carrying the weight of another night of poor sleep and another morning of uncertainty. They cling to small pieces of normal life, a hot meal in the cafeteria, a quiet moment in the library, a teacher who notices when they nod off in class. Homework is done in the backseat of a car, in a motel bathroom, or under a streetlight. They hide their situation from classmates, hoping no one asks where they live or why they are always so tired. And still, they dream. They imagine a stable home, a bed of their own, a future where they do not have to pretend everything is fine. Their resilience is a reminder. Potential does not disappear just because stability does. Protecting these children is not charity, it is responsibility. For point one, the fentanyl earthquake you can't see. Los Angeles has been in a fentanyl crisis for years. At one point, overdose deaths began to decline, thanks to more awareness and more life-saving tools like Narcan. Officials highlighted the progress, but anyone walking Skid Row at sunrise could see the full story. The sidewalks still look like a battlefield. The morning after a war no one filmed. Some paramedics no longer wait for the first 911 call. They begin their shift with overdose reversal medication already in hand, knowing the next emergency might be just around the corner. Social workers say one pill can cost less than a cup of coffee, but the damage it does is permanent. A $5 decision can be the first step from having a job and an apartment to sleeping in a tent in less than 6 months. Many people did not start by chasing a high. They started with a prescription. After surgery, after a back injury, after a car accident, the pain stayed. The medication stopped. The streets filled the gap. Harm reduction centers quietly acknowledge a frightening reality. Many of the people they serve were living in stable housing just 1 year ago. Stability can shatter faster than a window in a storm. No one wakes up and says, "Today I want to lose everything." It happens slowly, painfully, step by step, until one day they look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. The darkest thing about fentanyl is not only the risk of overdose, it is the way it slowly erases a person's life, long before anyone realizes what is happening. A father who used to flip burgers in the backyard can end up under a bridge without remembering the last time he hugged his kids. A woman who once worked 2 shifts to pay the rent can find herself walking the same block at 3 in the morning, chasing a feeling she cannot even name anymore. These are not strangers. These are neighbors, co-workers, parents, dreamers, people whose lives cracked under pressure until the cracks became canyons. And yet, even in this darkness, something refuses to die. The will to try again. Every dawn brings someone a brief moment of clarity. Maybe I can still make it back. That tiny spark of hope is all some people have left, and it deserves to be seen, not ignored. For point two, Skid Row, the center of pressure. Skid Row is not just a phrase. It is a real neighborhood in downtown Los Angeles. Walk a few dozen blocks there, and you can feel it. The air feels heavier. The streets carry more stories than one lifetime should. Just a short distance away, the downtown skyline glows with wealth and progress. But on these blocks, progress feels like a rumor. Officials report a decrease in the number of people sleeping completely unsheltered, but independent counts and local groups say thousands still live here. In tents, old buildings, and hidden corners, people sleep behind plastic walls that flap in the wind, in structures with no electricity, no staff, no safety, under streetlights that flicker, like they are tired too. Getting basic needs met turns into a series of uphill battles. There are only a handful of working restrooms for an area containing thousands of people. Lines begin before sunrise, as people wait just for a chance at dignity. Showers are available on limited days. When the doors finally open, the line wraps around the block. People hold towels, small bags of soap, and what remains of their sense of self-worth. Community organizations move through the encampments with gauze, water, food, and words of encouragement, but the need is endless, growing faster than any program can. Without refrigerators, medications like insulin or antibiotics are hard to manage. Untreated mental health struggles deepen as months turn into years. Faces age faster than they should. And still, Skid Row is not dead. Humanity is stubborn here. Strangers share blankets. On freezing nights, a volunteer shows up every Tuesday because he remembers the names everyone else has forgotten. Someone cooks a donated pot of oatmeal and feeds 20 people before the sun rises. In a place the world calls lost, community still exists, thread by fragile thread. If these truths break your heart, let them. Then like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Homeless US News so we can keep shining a light into the corners most people never look at. Runaway teens, soup kitchens, and why we keep showing up. Not all people on the street are there because of economic collapse or addiction. Some are there because home was more dangerous than the sidewalk. Across Los Angeles and many other cities, runaway and unhoused teenagers slide through the system almost unseen. They slip into bus stations, fast food restaurants, and libraries late at night, not to have fun, to survive. They left homes filled with violence, neglect, or chaos, and the streets, as dangerous as they are, felt safer than staying. Many official counts list hundreds or thousands of youth without stable housing. Workers on the ground say the real number is likely much higher. Many teenagers avoid outreach workers because they are afraid they will be forced back into harmful environments. Their lives revolve around survival skills no child should have to learn. Some ride the longest bus routes through the night because the seats are warmer and the constant movement feels safer than a sidewalk. Some wash up in school bathrooms or gym locker rooms so they can blend in with classmates the next morning. Others spend hours in 24-hour diners, sipping one drink slowly just to stay under bright lights. Instead of in the dark, they study the faces of strangers. They measure risks. They memorize exits. They guard the small backpack that holds everything they own. And yet, even under all this pressure, many of them keep holding on to hope. Libraries become safe havens where they can look up jobs, resources, or simply lose themselves in a story for a while. Youth shelters, mentors, and patient adults often become turning points, proof that they do deserve safety, stability, and a second chance. Runaway teens are not running from responsibility. They are running from harm, and they deserve a city and a country that is willing to see them and protect them. 5.1 Soup kitchens that hold the line. Every morning in Los Angeles, before the city fully wakes up, soup kitchens and food programs come to life. Their lights switch on while the streets are still cold and quiet. What they offer is more than food. They offer a moment where people feel human again. In a city where hundreds of thousands struggle with food insecurity, these places have become anchors for people trying to hold on. In some programs, volunteers arrive before dawn to prepare thousands of meals every day. Oatmeal, eggs, coffee, simple plates that taste like hope. Elders on fixed incomes, exhausted night shift workers, people who slept on the sidewalk last night. They all stand in the same line. Being called by name here matters. When life has stripped everything else away, kindness is the first step toward healing. Food banks send trucks full of produce and groceries to schools, churches, community centers, and shelters. Families who never imagined needing help begin to rely on those boxes of food when rent and bills swallow their paychecks. Inside missions and day centers, a hot meal often comes with access to services, medical care, addiction treatment, counseling, housing assistance. In small dining halls and big cafeterias, people sit together at long tables as neighbors, not as problems. Volunteer groups hand out sandwiches, fruit, and hygiene kits to people who often feel forgotten. And sometimes, the most powerful moment happens later, when someone who used to be in line for food returns as a volunteer. That is hope, circling back If these stories stir something inside you, subscribe to Homeless US News so we can continue bringing attention to people the world tries to ignore. The last thing I want you to remember, why do we keep telling these stories? Because every night in Los Angeles and in cities across America, there is a moment when the noise quiets down just enough for the truth to be heard. It is the sound of a tent zipper closing before the cold settles in. It is the quiet sob of someone who is not sure they can handle one more day. It is the tired smile of a parent trying to make their child feel safe in a place that is anything but safe. These moments do not trend online. They do not make headline news, but they are the real heartbeat of the city. Behind every sidewalk camp, behind every freeway underpass, behind every parked RV is someone holding on with everything they have left. The world sees the homeless. What we see are people who once blew out birthday candles, kids who once had after-school dreams, adults who once had plans for the future. No one imagines their life ending in a tent or in the backseat of a car. Life pushed them to the edge, far beyond what most of us ever have to endure. Even as new programs appear, even as more shelters open, the nights are still long for those on the street, and yet, hope refuses to disappear. In a hot meal shared before sunrise, in a volunteer who remembers a name, in a child doing homework by flashlight because they still believe tomorrow might be better. These things seem small, but for people living this reality, they can mean everything. That is why Homeless US News exists, to remind the world that every person on these streets is still a person, still worthy of respect, still worthy of care, still worthy of being seen. So now, I want to ask you, which moment from tonight's story stayed with you the most? Tell us in the comments. We do read them. We want to hear what you think. And if you believe these stories deserve to be told, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Homeless US News. Your support helps us keep shining a light on places most people never look. Because maybe, if enough people pay attention, change will stop being a distant dream and start becoming reality. We'll be back with more stories, more faces, more truth. Until then, if you are watching this from a shelter, a car, a tent, or a sidewalk, you are not invisible. You are not worthless. You are not alone. There are people who care. There are people fighting for better policies, better housing, better support. Your story is not over. From Homeless US News, thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And wherever you are tonight, we hope you make it safely to tomorrow.